So there once was this limousine company owner who took a cab and got held hostage. Let me start out by saying nobody was harmed, just a bit of rattled nerves, being a bit ticked off, and so nobody's hurt. Don't get all uppity about something like that. Today was quite interesting. Our cab ride went wrong, and we flew into LAX this morning and got there at, I think it was around 10:50, and got into a cab shortly thereafter. It was just before 11 a.m. and by 12:30 we were surrounded by police, and the police were from a couple of different jurisdictions, and there was one cabbie that was in a hell of a lot of trouble. So basically we got into this cab at the airport, and at the airport, you know, you don't get to choose your cab, you don't get to choose your driver, you just take whatever's available to you. I handed him the a printout that I had for Crystal Limousines, which is where we were headed to today. And so I hand him this paper, and it has an address of, you know, 2100 block or something like that of Imperial Highway. And so anyway, I figured no problem, and I noticed that right away he was looking for street signs or for house numbers. And what I realized is that we were already on Imperial Way. We'd only driven about 2 miles, and I knew that per Google it was going to take about 40 miles, and at 40 miles we shouldn't be there in a few minutes. So I ask him, you know, what he's doing, and I point out to him that we're going to a town called Brea. And so anyway, he says, you know, like this, whatever, and seems to understand what I'm saying, and so he starts heading down the highway. Well, the highway here is just 2 lanes each direction, and it is one of the more major streets, but you know, not necessarily a highway with exits. So it continues going down. We're going through some neighborhoods that you know, we saw a sign that was like "Welcome to Watts," and a couple of other places that when you hear about them in the news, they're not necessarily as desirable as well, they're not tourist destinations, let me put it that way. And everybody there had bars on their doors and on their windows and on their yards and everything. So anyway, he finally makes this U-turn, and he says that he missed the address. And so we're looking around. We're still on Imperial Highway, but there is no we're still only about 5 miles away from the airport at this point. So something is definitely wrong, and I say to him again that we're not at the right spot, and so I kind of firmly point out to him that the city that we're going to is Brea, and it appears that this road actually goes through several towns, and so the address could be proper in several places if that was, you know, if we were in the proper town. And so anyway, he keeps on going. I call my contact at Crystal Limousines and I say, hey, you know, we're having a little trouble getting there and everything, and Ashley from there was really nice, and she offered a lot of help, and she says, you know, what directions to take, what highway and everything. And so I talked to the driver again, and each time I talk to him, he gets on his cell phone, he's like speaking in some foreign language, and speaking to someone else, and he's looking confused, pulling U-turns, going around the other way and stuff, and we can tell, my operations officer, Dennis, was with me. We could tell that he was definitely lost. He did not know where he was going. And so we're in a bad neighborhood. By this time, we can really tell that we don't want to be with this guy. And since we're in these bad neighborhoods, we decide we're going to have to wait until looks like a little bit better neighborhood to tell him to pull over and let us out, because we are going to catch a different cab that can get us to our destination. So we get on the freeway. I don't even remember what freeway it was, but it was somewhere in the Watts neighborhood. And so get onto the freeway, and we tell him to take the next exit. Well, he does not take the next exit. And so he then is talking on the phone again, stuff, I assume to get directions, and we tell him again that we'd like him to take the next exit, and that we want to, what I told him specifically was, please take the next exit and drop us off at a restaurant. I wanted to be someplace where I could call a cab, and I was hungry, and I figured, well, get something to eat, and I'll have the restaurant call a cab for us. And so he continues on going. And so then I tell him more forcefully, without yelling at him, to please take the next exit, and that we want out of the vehicle. And he does take an exit, and then immediately gets right back on the on-ramp and continues going. So apparently in his mind, which I realize now, is that he missed the exit that he was looking for to get to the destination that we were originally wanting to go to, and so he got back onto the freeway again in an attempt to get there since he missed his exit. And so I at this point, when we're coming up to another exit, I yell at him and I say, we want out of the fucking car right now. Excuse my language. And, you know, he obviously tells that we're upset, and by this time I've been asking him for probably, I don't know, 5 or 7 minutes to get out of the car, and he's not obeying our commands, not obeying our wishes, and so he continues to go on, and he's on the phone again with his what he tells me is his supervisor, and he hands me the phone because the supervisor is going to tell me that we're almost there. Well, I get on the phone with the supervisor, and the supervisor says, oh, you're almost there. And I'm like, no, we can't be almost there because we haven't got enough distance in the right direction, and I can't say I'm real familiar with the area, but I knew that we were way off track. And so I yell at the supervisor, and I say, we want out of the car. We've asked him multiple times to get out of the car, and he is refusing to stop and let us out of the car. Please translate that to him now. And I hand the phone back over to the driver. I hear him talking, you know, on the phone again, in foreign language, I assume Armenian, and then he keeps right on going. So I demand one more time, and very forcefully, let us out of the car. I'll take the very next exit and let us out of the car. And he passes the next exit that he could have made. And so at that point, I decided that obviously my demands were being ignored. And, you know, at the time I didn't know why he was ignoring us. But I decided that there was nothing left to do. I wasn't going to hop out on the freeway, and there was nothing left to do but to dial 911.